Imagine this, and a plane is flying high in the sky. Dozens of passengers are on their way to their destinations. But within moments, that plane is about to fall from the sky and land in a place where there are no government laws, no help, only the rule of death and fear. Friends, this is the story of an intense survival thriller, where a pilot and his passengers get trapped on a dangerous island filled with guns, terror, and the last hope of survival, courage. So stay with us, because in this video, we'll show you how one man risks not just his plane but his own life to save himself and his passengers. Hello, welcome to Muji Explainer. Today's movie is Plane. The story begins at an airport. Pilot Brodie Torrance rushes toward his flight while video calling his daughter. His daughter warns him about the bad weather, many flights have been canceled, and she asks him to come back home. Brodie smiles and assures her that he has flown in worse weather before and will return home soon. In the cockpit, he meets his co-pilot, who is flying for the first time and is a bit nervous. Just then, a flight attendant calls Brodie outside, where a police officer informs him that due to an emergency, they must transport a dangerous prisoner named Louis Gaspare to another country. He is accused of murder and being sent for life imprisonment. Brodie agrees and seats him at the back to avoid disturbing the other passengers. Everyone boards and the plane takes off. At cruising altitude, Brodie turns on the autopilot and talks to his co-pilot about his daughter. Suddenly, the weather worsens and the plane begins to shake violently. Brodie senses danger and announces for passengers to fasten their seatbelts. He tries to contact air control, but the radio fails. Then a lightning strike hits the plane, causing it to jolt hard. Brodie gets injured. Panic spreads among the passengers, and both pilots struggle to control the aircraft. Due to zero visibility, Brodie says they must descend immediately, otherwise another strike could destroy the plane. As they drop altitude rapidly, a police officer and a flight attendant without seatbelts are thrown into the ceiling and die instantly. Somehow, Brodie manages to control the plane, but there isn't enough power left to reach an airport. Suddenly, they spot an island in the distance. Brodie steers the plane toward it and makes a hard emergency landing on a deserted road. All passengers survive. From a short circuit, they discover there's still a bit of power left in the plane. A flight attendant informs Brodie about the two deaths. Meanwhile, the airline owner contacts a crisis expert named Scarsdale to handle the missing flight situation. On the island, Brodie explains to the passengers that they had to make an emergency landing and he'll fix things soon. But after checking the map, the co-pilot warns that they are on a dangerous private island, one not governed by any law or government. They must call for help fast. However, the radio was completely destroyed by the lightning. Brodie calms everyone and makes a bold decision. He unlocks Gaspare's handcuffs and decides to take him into the jungle to find a working radio. Gaspare thanks him for trusting him and reveals he has a military background. A little later, Gaspare disappears. Brodie moves ahead alone and finds an old factory with a broken phone. He repairs it just enough to call his daughter, telling her to write down his location and deliver it to the airline office. Suddenly, a man attacks him from behind, but Brodie knocks him unconscious. Then Gaspare returns, having killed armed men nearby and taken their weapons. He hands Brodie a gun. They find a camera and passports, revealing the island is run by kidnappers who abduct people for ransom and kill them even after getting paid. Brodie realizes the passengers are in grave danger. They drive toward the crash site. Meanwhile, the passengers hear approaching vehicles and feel relieved. But it's not Brodie. It's the militants. They open fire, terrifying everyone. When a woman tries to escape, they shoot her dead. Brodie and Gaspare hear the gunfire and rush toward the plane. Gaspare stops Brodie, warning him the gang is huge in number. The gang leader forces the flight attendant to give him the passenger list and takes everyone captive in a bus, leaving two men behind to loot the plane. Brodie's daughter delivers his message to Scarsdale, who uses satellites to locate the island and identify the militant group. He then sends a private mercenary team with weapons and cash to rescue them. Brodie returns to the plane and finds the co-pilot has fixed the power system. He writes the route message on his uniform and heads toward the camp with Gaspare. They sneak into the base where the kidnappers are filming ransom videos. One by one, Brody and Gasper kill the guards. Gasper brutally takes out several men with a hammer. Brody unlocks the cages and frees all the passengers, telling them to board the bus. Gasper says there's only one way out, but it's heavily guarded. Brody decides to sacrifice himself to distract the terrorists so Gasper can escape with the others. Brody confronts the leader and tells him help is already on the way. The gang laughs and starts beating him. Just then, the private rescue team attacks, leading to an intense gunfight. They save Brody and drive everyone away. The gang leader, furious over his brother's death, vows revenge. The rescue captain warns they're only a small 5-man team. The official rescue team will take time to arrive. Brody insists they can't wait. They must take off immediately before the terrorists return. As passengers board, the rescue team prepares for the next attack. The militants strike again. Bullets fly everywhere. Brody tells the leader they'll be airborne in 5 minutes and thanks Gasperi for his help. In the cockpit, Brody starts the engines. Gasperi runs out of bullets, finds a bag full of cash, but instead of taking it, he grabs more ammo and keeps fighting. Brody steers the plane as the mercenaries climb aboard. The gang leader appears with a rocket launcher, but Gasperi shoots him dead just in time, saving everyone. Gasper then takes the money bag and runs into the jungle. Brody finally lifts the plane off the ground and takes flight. The airline owner contacts him, guiding him to a nearby runway. But one engine catches fire. Brody triggers an emergency landing warning and manages to land the plane safely on the runway. Everyone survives. Passengers cheer and clap for Brody, thanking him for saving their lives. Rescue teams arrive, and Brody sends everyone to safety, then sits on the plane's steps, exhausted, and calls his daughter. And with that, the story ends. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel.